Hello everyone. So in this video, we'll be discussing about the law of demand, right? So just like the concept of demand, law of demand was also given by Alfred Marshall. Now, one thing you need to remember here is that the law of demand is a partial equilibrium analysis. Now we'll come to this, right? That is, law of demand states that there is an inverse relationship between quantity demanded and the price of it, right? So there is an inverse relationship between the quantity demanded of a commodity and its price, right? And simply because we are just taking the price factor into consideration, and other factors like income or prices of related goods, etc., they are kept as constant. So when we are just trying to identify the relationship between demand and price, keeping other things constant, that implies that the law of demand is your partial equilibrium analysis, right? Now, how do you represent the law of demand? You can represent this by two ways. There is a graphical representation and there is a tabular representation. So the graphical representation is called your demand curve, which is a downward sloping curve. Demand on the x-axis and price on the y-axis. So the law of demand gives us a downward sloping demand curve. On the other hand, the tabular representation is called your demand schedule, right? So which shows that what will be the demand of a commodity at different levels of prices. For example, if price is 5, quantity demanded is 1, 4 price, 2 quantity demanded, 3 price, 3 quantity demanded, 2 price, 4 quantity demanded, and 1 price, 5 units of that commodity demanded. So as the price is falling, the quantity demanded is increasing, which shows that there is a negative relationship between the price of the commodity and the quantity demanded of it, right? Now, you need to remember here is that the graphical and the tabular representation, they do not tell us what the actual price and demand is. Rather, it tells us that at what price, at this particular price, what will be the quantity demanded. So they do not tell you that this demand curve or the demand schedule, they do not tell you what the actual or prevailing market price and demand is. Rather, it only tells you that at what price, what will be the quantity demanded of it, right? Now, while this is the individual demand curve, if we take sum of demands by different individuals, we will get, D1 to say D3. So if we take the sum of these three individuals which are there in the market, that is called your market demand. Okay, and this market demand curve, simply because it is a summation of the quantities or summation of the individual quantities that is demanded, this market demand curve will be a flatter curve as compared to your individual demand curve. Now, why do we say that there is a downward sloping demand curve? So what are the reasons behind the downward sloping demand curve? First and the most important reason of all is the law of diminishing marginal utility. This was again given by Marshall. Now, according to this law, as the consumer increases or as the consumer consumes more and more of a good, right, the marginal utility derived from each successive unit keeps on decreasing. That is, on the first unit, say the marginal utility derived was 10. On the second unit, the marginal utility derived was 8. Third unit, 5. Fourth unit, same marginal utility. Fourth unit will say 2, and so on. So as we are increasing the number of units that are consumed, this is the first, second, third, and fourth, the marginal utility that is derived from each successive unit will keep on falling. Okay. Now, second reason, and that is why, now why this is considered to be the reason for a downward sloping demand curve is, see, if you get a higher marginal utility from consuming a commodity, you will be willing to pay more for it, right? But if you get lesser and lesser of marginal utility from it, from consuming it, you'll be willing to pay less for it. So that is why as you consume more and more of a good, the marginal utility of it falls, and consequently the price also falls. The quantity demanded at that particular price will also fall, right? Second reason is your income effect. Okay, now according to this effect, if there is a fall in price, right, now this will increase your real income, that is number of units that can be bought from it. So for example, your nominal income is rupees 100 and price of a good is rupees 5, right? So your, what will be your real income? Real income will be 100 by 5, which is equal to 20. Now, if your price, say, is 10, then in that case, your real income will come out to be 100 by 10, that is equal to 10. So, as the price of the commodity has increased, right, the number of units that can be consumed or that can be bought has fallen from 20 to 10. So similarly, using the same idea, we have, if your income price decreases, the real income will increase, right? So that means you can consume more or the purchasing power will increase. And when purchasing power increases, the quantity demanded increase. So there is a negative relationship between quantity demanded and price. Okay. Third comes out to be your substitution effect. So what is the substitution effect? This was again given by Marshall, right? And please remember that Marshall used only substitution effect to explain the inverse relationship between the price and the quantity demanded. Okay, so what is the substitution effect and how does it work? So if there is a fall in price of a commodity, say X, right? And there are two commodities, X and Y, that are, say, substitutes. I won't say close substitutes, but substitutes, okay? So if there is a fall in the price of X, right, that means X has now become cheaper than Y, right? And as a result, the quantity demanded of X will increase. Okay, so this is the substitution effect. Then fourth, you have different uses of a commodity. So when there is a fall in price of a good, you can use that good for different uses as well, right? So you means it can be put to different several other uses, and as a result your demand will increase. And last reason is the size of the market, right? So if there is a fall in price, more people will be attracted towards the good, right? because if it is available at a cheaper rate, then more people will be attracted. As a result, the demand increases, right? Try to relate this with the sales season. Okay, so these were the reasons why the demand curve is downward sloping, and we've done the law of demand, right? In the next video, we'll be discussing about the exceptions to the law of demand. So hope this was clear. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.